record.
Thanks.
Now is recording and now is sharing the screen. Okay, reality. This class or the beginning of this class is reality. We want to implement something that we find on the web and we want to implement it in our own code. Okay, so we download this piece of code. We open this piece of code. I'm gonna double click in this piece of code. So in such a way, I'm gonna start the server. You haven't opened. Okay, let me give me a second. Let me open a project, which is the one that we had. Um, this one, for example, opening a new window and discard the state. Okay, and then we have this karaoke thing here, which is this karaoke here. I start a server just to have an access to it. And then I open my karaoke and then I open my karaoke on Spotify. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. I open as always my developer tools. Okay. And then I search for a song here, Besame Mucho. And then I get a couple of things, right? Karaoke, Spotify null loaded, and then unable to decode the data. Okay, maybe in this particular case was something else. I'm gonna search for Muse again. No, I'm gonna search for, what should I search for?
Lady Gaga.
El paso del
Hola.
gigante,
Paul
Lady
Grange, Paul Grange.
Gaga. Okay, and
el
then
ansioso.
okay, well, now we have Lady Gaga, and I think that's it. Okay, so we have here a set of albums and things like that, but at the same time, we are not listening anything at all. So that means that probably we have a problem. Then I say, okay, well, but for some reason we want this piece of code. So I will double click, right click, I will right click in such a way that I can see the source code. Okay, because the source code that I can see on the browser is a little bit ugly. I'm just gonna copy, and then I'm gonna paste it in a fancy editor like Atom, Sublime, Xcode, or whatever editor that you want to use. Why? Because just have colors and things like that. And then I grab a piece of coffee and I start to study these type of things, okay? And then I go through these and I check that we have a form. That's the place where you put the button. Then we have just a bunch of P's. That's just the place with IDs where we are gonna put some information. Then we have a couple of scripts. We have a Spotify web audio API, okay? That's the one that from the web. And then we have this that says these persons decide to have the script inside the HTML. Does that make sense? We are more clean and we have our script in another file, but the persons that create these, they have them inside the HTML file, which at this point you probably should know, or you should be familiar that you have two options: either have the code for the JavaScript in another file, or you could have it embedded. And then you start to go, and then basically you say, okay, and then you say, don't fall asleep, guys, don't fall asleep. Okay, so we have this, and we have audio context. We know it. We get an audio context. We get an array of something. Fine. We have an Spotify. Good. We connect to the Spotify. Good. We get information. Okay. We get elements from the web page. If we have document, give me the element with the tag K tag. That means that we are getting elements with that particular ID. And what is that? It's the only way that we have. Well, there are some other ways to get these elements from the web page, this one and this one, because we are going to modify the content of the web page. Okay, sounds logic, everything fine at the moment. Okay, we continue with this. We have to, this is like playing memory. Do you remember when you were a child and you were playing memory and you have to keep all of that in your head? Well, we have now two variables that are empty. Okay, then we have a document query, document selector, add event listener, submit. Okay, that means that all that is inside here, from here to the end of this line, to the end of this key, which probably is, oh, it's here, from here to here, all of this happens when I press the button form. Okay, and what are we doing? Well, we are we are avoiding the web page to be reloaded when you press the form. Okay, sounds good. Because in other contexts, when you press the button, you want to change to another web page, right? And in this particular case, okay, we get an audio context. Okay, we know that, we understand that. We have the Spotify search tracks. Okay, and then it's saying, give me the element from the input value trim. Can you remind me what is trim doing? What is trim doing?
You trim your audio, your song?
No, because this is not in audio. This is in the query input value. Okay.
You trim the, or you limit the number of items that you receive?
No. Look
I
at this.
give up.
Give me a second. Query input is what? Query input is what?
Text.
It's text. Well, it's actually the label of the form. Is the place, is the name that we give to the thing where you put the form. And the value is the content of the form, and trim is the function to cut the spaces that you could end up having at the very end. Why? Because sometimes people search for Lady Gaga, okay, space, because I don't know, I'm in a party and I play Lady Gaga. Oh yeah, Lady Gaga. Okay, Gaga, okay? And then you put another space. Be careful with that, because here we have a white space and here we have a bunch of white spaces. If we search for this, we're gonna get 0, because it's gonna try to compare that string that has spaces at the beginning, okay? So just for avoiding that type of mistakes, what this function is doing is removing the white spaces from the beginning and the end from the input. Okay, then we are limiting to, yes?
Uh, is that useful for typos, or there is something else for typos?
Oh, no, typos. If you really want to have typos, probably the best thing to do is first to do the query to Google, and Google give you the thing. When you search in Google, right, and you search, I use it a lot because I have a lot of horrible grammar, not grammar, how do you say? When you type Z.
Spelling mistakes?
Yeah. I have a lot of spelling problems, so I always have to do recibido, right? And when you say, oh yeah, it's okay. Recibido, it's with a B, right? Otherwise, you do this. Or if you say first Lady Gaga, Lady Gaga, let's say Lady Gaga, okay? And then you can have the right name. How does Google know that Lady Gaga should point to Lady Gaga? Well, because they have all these huge amount of databases, and they really know that. So if you want to implement that, would be better to use the API of Google for doing cleaning or finding spelling errors with Google API or something like that. Okay. And then you can say, okay, I'm using Google Custom Searches API. I make an HTTP request to look like this. And then if I search this, you get this. And then you have to go to this API where programmable search engine, okay, this is the programmable search engine. You have it here. That is telling you how can you use it. Okay. But if you use it one time a day, not big deal. If you decide to use it 1,000 times per day, or maybe 100 times a day, in the same way that we have a user ID for the Spotify, the same is going to happen with the Google, and then Google is going to say, oh, this person is doing
Teacher,
this. Yes.
so trim help us to avoid these errors in
No. Trim is just going to remove the spaces, but I'm just giving the
okay,
answer
okay.
to the previous question about the spelling. What do you need to do if you want to also fix spelling? If you also want to fix spelling, you will need to do something way more complicated, which is sending what the user put to the Google spelling check, and then getting back the response from Google, and then use the cleaning, okay? And then continue. But that's another story, okay? So let's go back to what we're doing. We get the track, we get the preview URL, we understand that, and then once that we have the preview URL, once that we have the preview URL, we do a connection with the traditional request. Oh, why I'm not, oh, we do the traditional connection, okay? And the connection has a function, what happened when the song has been loaded. And once that the song has been loaded, we start to decode the audio, okay? We decode the content, and then we create a source. We know all of that, and we know that the karaoke thing hasn't happened here yet, right? Karaoke thing hasn't happened here yet. We get a buffer, which is the content, fine. And voila, we get this new information. There is a create a script processor that has two interesting numbers, or actually three interesting numbers. When I see this number, this sounds fishy. This is a power of 2, okay? Oh, this is power of 2. This is a number like 125, 212, 280. Okay, all of these numbers mean something. So probably the thing that I should do actually would be to just go here and then Google very quickly what is going on here. And then I go to the base audio context creators preprocessor. And the first thing that I see is this one, deprecated. Be careful. This feature is not longer recommended. Though some browsers might still support it, it may have already been removed from the relevant web standards, maybe in the process of being dropped, or may only be kept for compatibility purposes. Avoid using it and update existing code if possible. See the compatibility table at the bottom of this page. Okay, well, then maybe we shouldn't be using this one. However, it can give you a little bit of context. It's giving us a buffer size. Okay, interesting. The number of input channels, interesting. And the number of output channels. Okay, so, and then, okay, now we understand. And this value controls how frequently the audio process event dispatch. Okay, then we go back to our code, and we, even though we know that we don't want to use this one, it can help us to understand that the source, which is the music, is connected to that processor in the same way that we connected to the volume, in the same way that we connected to an effect, we can connect it to a processor. Interesting. And then the processor is connected to the speakers. Sounds good. And the new thing is this one, the processor on audio process, what should happen each time that a block of audio is retrieved in the process, and then you have a name. You have this name, which is called get signal info. Interesting. And this getting, it's a callback function that is below. And we come back here. That means, okay, that means that we are processing the audio chunk by chunk, which made us think, all the people that were taking your audio programming classes using, were you using MaxMSP, right? Half of the class was using Super Collider and MaxMSP and Pure Data, right?
Yes.
Any other programming language in that class? No? Okay, or BSTs, for example. Real time doesn't.
Use.
Pardon me?
I also use for program audio.
Which one?
Use.
Faust.
Or who's I don't know how to spell it.
Fuse?
Actually, Fuse is C++.
Use.
Can you spell it?
Use.
A fuse?
It's C++.
Oh.
It's C++.
C++ for your audio programming class?
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, Juice is based on C++.
Oh, Juice. You were using audio Juice.
Ah, you yes.
But is not is how do you use
It's without the eye. Exactly. Just
this one?
That one, yes.
Yes, this is an example and see. Yeah, okay, nice. Oh, well, who was teaching you that class?
Mauro.
Oh, nice, Mauro. Yes. Okay. Well, so actually, you should understand this in more detail because you were working in a way more low-level material. You should remember that no matter how fast is your audio card, there is always a small delay. Audio is not treated frame by frame. Computers wait a little bit in order to get a chunk of audio, a certain amount of audio, then do a process and then put it in the speaker. And then it does that so fast that we hear it as a continuum, but it is doing it. And then this is the amount of time.
Block buffers. For
Now,
that, I think.
question, exam question. How much delay do we have if our engine is a 44,000 and our block size is of 2048 frames? Do you understand what I'm saying? How much delay do we have naturally in an audio system if we have a block size or a buffer size of 2048 frames each block in a 44,000 audio signal?
22 microseconds.
I don't know. I don't know the operation. How did you get it?
1 divided in 44,100 and multiply it by
This. No? 2048 divided by 44 and 1,000. And it is actually 0.40. That's what you say?
yes. No. I just divided divided in 44,000.
Oh, but it is 46 milliseconds, right? 46 milliseconds. No matter how fast is your computer, you will have a delay of 46 milliseconds in the transformation. Okay, so in those 46 milliseconds, okay, that means that you wait that amount of time, you get that digital signal, and you do something to that digital signal. What are we doing in this digital signal? So we need to understand this function. We need to understand this function. What is happening here? Okay, we get a bunch of audio. This is the block of audio that we have. And then we are saying we need a variable, which is the left speaker, which is give me the channel 0 from the input buffer from the chunk of audio. Okay. And then the right speaker is the right channel, channel 1 of the input buffer of our chunk of audio. And the output value is the output channel of the output buffer, just one channel of the output buffer of the input signal. And then the length is the size of that array that we have there. Okay, sounds interesting. And then we have an I equals 0. And then interesting, we have an empty array, sounds good. And then we have a for, okay? For a variable I equals 0, that's why we are not defining the I, while I is smaller than length, I plus plus, sounds good. This is a regular iteration over length, okay, over length, where the length is of how much? Of the input of the length. And what is the input of the length? The input of the length is the input
Is the signal,
buffer.
no?
Yes, but how this chunk of audio, this buffer is of how much size? 44 and 1,000 is the amount of data that comes on every chunk to here. That means that this four is iterating for 248 times, okay? And then what is where we are actually getting the change of phase? And this is the nice thing. The output of I, that means we are adding to this empty array. This is audio data, okay? Audio data push, add little by little the output of I, where the output of I, okay, it's equal to, the output of I, it's equal to, and this is important, the input of left plus the right of left, okay? It is adding the signals, okay? Divided by 1. Interesting. I don't think this is actually doing the karaoke. We just have to check, okay?
That's only for the output, set the output in stereo.
This is just for converting this into mono.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Because it's
actually
divided,
only
yes.
doing mono signal. This is converting the audio signal to mono, but it's not doing the karaoke, okay? We will have to check that in a few seconds, but that is interesting, okay? So this is the important part. So this is setup and field. Oh, this is processing. Function, this is processing. If we know that this is draw is processing, we are going through the audio data. Okay, this is, we don't care too much about this for now. No stroke. These are just a 4 and a 4 and a map and an angle and an ellipse. Okay, these are graphics. This is graphics, this is graphics, this is graphics, this is graphics. Okay, okay, now that we understand the important thing, the raw, the meat, the good, the saucy meat is here. This is what we should be concerned about, this function, and this function is related to that, okay? Good moment then to implement that, and then we are just gonna say, okay, this is the important part. So we go back to the, oh, which one am I gonna modify, by the way? Should I work on one of your assignments, or should I work on the one that we did last time? Was
In
this
the assignment,
ones-
okay.
The one
we are
that
gonna
we did the last time, no? For
yes, this is, I
that.
think this is the last one that we did. This is the ending of the previous if I search for Muse, no, because I don't think, was this the last one that we did, or what is going on here?
From the assignment, we created a new glitch. I don't know if it's like a copy.
A copy of that one? Yes, because on this one I just have the artist. No, it's not the Spotify Tech Notes. It's not this one. It should be. It should
Spotify
be.
test.
I think
Spotify
so.
test, right?
Oh, I see. Spotify test. Is this the good one? Let's check. The music, Muse. Oh no, that's not. I'm pretty sure that at the end of last class we had something that was playing, right?
Yes.
Do you remember which one was it?
I think it was actually that Spotify test.
Did anybody modify it? No. Oh, maybe it was my. I know what the problem could be. A Spotify test. You should was. I don't think it was Spotify test. Yeah, it's this one. If I go here and I go here and I search for Muse and I search for Muse, I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. No, 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 no. Okay. I don't hear anything. When you press it, you have an audio context, then you get the artist. Then if they get artist item 0, then you get the first song. Then we go to the first song. We get the top artist. We get the preview. Okay. We go to the preview. Then we go to the play sound. We get the source. We start. And then that's it. Was this one working? It's not saying loaded. Let me type loaded plus preview URL. Okay. Muse from ClickMouse. No, it's not working. Oh, something is wrong here. Do you have access to this account? No, right? I'm the only person here. It says something is wrong, okay? Am I calling for artist? Something went wrong when I search for artist. Something is wrong when I search for artist. Artist, artist. Could it be my ID?
Or we can do it on the first assignment that you show us.
Yes, I guess, yes. Can you, anybody share the group number 1, your assignment, please?
Yes, teacher. Wait a second.
Do you have it on the chat?
I think I already sent it.
Into the chat? I don't have it.
Yes, teacher, in the chat.
I have my chat open and it's empty. I'm gonna close my chat. Are you sure that you are sending to all the group and not on your?
Yes,
Yeah.
teacher is for everyone.
Yes,
Okay.
I can see it.
I can you see my hi? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't
See
see you.
our hi.
Huh?
We reply you the hi.
Mm.
Maybe
I'm not-
you should log out of Zoom and enter it again.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna do that because it can take time. Pause recording. Can you send it to? Okay, let's do this. Do you remember the name?
Teacher,
Yes.
Maybe it's time for a break. Don't you think that?
Okay, let's
God
have a
keeps
break.
saying it's break time.
Okay, let's have, yeah, that's true. Let's have a 10 minutes break. See you here at 8:40, 8:51.
Okay.
Okay, let's have a break. Hello, hello, hello. Are you here?
Hi, teacher.
Hi.
Okay, excellent. So let's keep going, okay? I hope that everybody is here again. Is everybody here? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now that we have this, okay. Now that we have
You're not sharing your screen, Professor.
new share, something is wrong with the. What about there?
Yes, now we can see it.
Okay. And is it recording? Yes, it is recording. So, okay, let's keep going with this, okay? Okay, by the way, it's working because sometime, for some reason, okay, we have to remember one thing. The content that we are getting here, is information about the server, okay? Things that runs on the server, and the content that we are getting in the developers tools, okay, is information in the client side. This is computed in your computer, while this is computed on Glitch computer. Because I was getting messages about server error, I decided to open the debugger, okay, and run the debugger to see, and then it start working again. So why? I guess sometimes the computers there, in this case, in the Glitch, gets messed up for some reason, and just by restarting the server, it was working again. Just a little bit like this chat that's still not working. Okay, so but now it's working. The last thing that we did last class, the thing that we were doing last class, it's now working. Okay, and then if I search here for Muse, I have the piece. Okay, okay, it's working, so that's good. And then I go back to the code that I found on the web that it's saying how to implement a karaoke. And then we go to this. We have a create script processor. Our sound is connected to the processor, and the processor is connected to the audio buffer. Doesn't sound too complicated. So what we are gonna do is the same in our code that we have here, right? And then the source is the buffer, okay, equals, and then this, we create a new variable processor, and then the source is connected to the processor, okay, the source is connected to the processor, okay, and the processor is connected to the audio context, okay? You understand what I'm doing, right? Is everybody here? Do you understand what I'm doing? Yes? Sure?
Little bit.
Who say a little bit?
Me, Mowgli.
Okay, Mowgli, what did you question?
The last part that you explained.
Okay, you understand we are just in this technology works by gluing things. I get the signal is connected to a delay. Then I get the delay, and then the delay is connected to a distortion. Then I get the distortion, and the distortion is connected to the speaker. You understand that, right?
Yes.
Well, what we are doing here is we are getting the source, which is the sound. And now the sound, instead of connecting that directly to the speakers, we are, before that, we were having something like, we were having audio to the speakers, okay? Now we're having audio to the processor to the speaker, where the processor, it's a generator, okay, that requires a function here. It will do what we write here, okay? And sometimes, Mowgli, you have done audio to volume, volume to speaker, right?
Yes.
And when you have the volume, you do something like gain dot set value at time X, a value of whatever. You understand that really well, right? You can say no, you can say yes.
Yes.
You have the gain, right? Well, this one, which is the processor, it's a more sophisticated generator, because instead of having only one parameter to change the volume, you have an entire thing to change whatever you want of the signal. So we could do
So,
something.
for example, it could be like the example you said, like a delay or distortion, etc. It can be seen as a effects unit.
Exactly.
Ah,
So,
okay.
but the regular units, you can say audio connected to volume, connected to distortion, because you already have that ones. This one is already implemented for you. This one is already implemented for you. And this one go to the speakers. Okay.
Yes, like a
But-
pedal board, you might say, right? You
Again,
have like
sorry?
different, like in the example that you said about the delay and the gain, etc. It's, I understand that, but the processor, it can be seen like a pedal board, guitar pedal board, that you have like several type of effects.
Oh,
inside
I
that
see.
unit.
Well, no, it's actually more complicated than a pedal. It is a box where you can do whatever you want,
Ah, okay, yeah, I
where
understand.
you can write your own effect. Okay.
Okay, yes.
Where
I
do
get
you
it.
write? Where do you write your own effect? On the function that is connected to that. Okay, so where are you gonna say that? Exactly here. Okay, my processor on audio process gets signal info. With this line, you are saying connect my process. Okay, connect my process to this audio info that I'm doing. Okay.
Okay.
If everything is working, which I think it will, now that we run another question.
Why we don't have gain here?
Again, we didn't implement it. We should, because each time that I turn this code, it's crap my speaker. So let's gonna create a volume. Okay, volume, and then this will be, can you start to tell me what we need to do here?
Create gain.
Create gain. Okay, and then we are gonna connect first the output. Instead of connecting the processor to the speakers, we are gonna connect the processor to the volume, right? Yes.
Yes,
And the
teacher.
volume to what?
The speakers.
Which is audio context destination, right?
Yep.
I think, I hope I don't have any kind of spelling, but now we have something that is, we have a source, okay? The source internally requires a buffer, okay? You understand what I'm saying? So we have a source, we create our S, and we say that the buffer of the source, it's gonna be equal to the thing that we got from the internet, okay? Now we have an S, that has internally a buffer. This one was retrieved from the web, okay? The S is connected to a processor, which internally has an open box that you can write code that is pointing to the function get signal info. Then the process is connected to the volume, which internally has a small gain. We're gonna set up the gain in a second, and the volume is going to the speakers. Yes, does that make more sense?
Yes.
Okay, so that's exactly, and then the volume, how can we set the volume? Anybody tell me just volume gain dot set value? I think it's like that, right? Value, and then say how much, 0.1, when in audio context current time. Am I right or am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. Is this right or not?
I don't remember if it set value at time.
In the gain set value?
Yeah, I think too it's
Set
set
value.
value at time.
Set, okay, well, actually we can use the other one, which I think is just value equal. Oh, but we know that in Safari this doesn't
We
work.
can
Set,
set value, but value is with capital V.
set value. Do we have this one at time?
We have both.
Okay, let's check this one and then let's check if we don't have any mistake. And then if I go here, I don't hear anything. Something is wrong. Oh, I know. I know what is wrong because we're doing this in the wrong place. This is the example that we got from the internet, and this is our thing. So this is what we need in the here. I did a mistake. This is what we need here, right? Yes, the source, we get the source, the processor, the volume, then oh, we have again the source to the processor to the volume to the speakers. Yes, that's fine, right? Oh, you're saying this one. Yes, we don't have the function yet. Yes, you're right. So we just have to grab this function from here. Okay, we have the function to some place here. Okay. Oh, and then just forget about this one for a second because this was for something else. Okay. And then if everything is fine, now if we run this, we have a mono version of the audio. Actually, what I'm listening has a way lower quality than the thing that we had before. Okay. Because we are adding the two signals and dividing. So now we are listening a mono signal. Okay. But it is working. It is working. Okay. You follow that? Are you tired? Yes?
Yes to both.
Laura, are you tired? But you look like in where are you now today?
Es un fondo de Zoom, profe. No.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Ando en mi cuarto.
It's okay. I know, but it seems that you were on the beach or something. Okay. Wow. Now that we have this, okay, we just have to fix the mono signal because this is wrong. It's not a plus what we want. We want to subtract or we want to multiply one of these signals. We want to modify it by the negative value of that, right? I think that only with a negative value, we can do that, which probably is the same than doing this. Let's see if this is actually what we want to do. And now we have the karaoke, well, in a very precarious way, obviously, but now there is no voice. Let's search for something else. Let's search for something else. And now we have something that do not have the voice. Or let's search for something here like Radiohead. And there is no voice anymore, right? Just the echoes of the voices that are on their surrounding. But now it's working, okay? Now the karaoke is working. Questions so far? Okay, now big deal. Probably this code is not gonna work. By the way, I just see one person connected, I guess because that's because you are watching the screen, but still I'm gonna comment the code just in case that you don't have it in my phantom chat. Remember that I don't have chat. Did you get it?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Okay. So now it's working. We are just adding things. Okay. And now only for the people, it's 9-7. Okay, we are on right track. Now for the people that was doing the assignment, okay, I think we can very quickly do what you had to do for the assignment. And the assignment, once that you get the artist, instead of getting the first song, okay, instead of getting the artist, you need to go. I'm just doing a small review of the assignment because we had also related. You remember that we have related, and related was expecting an artist ID. So it was just related. So if we go to the script, once that we search for the artist, okay, we get it, and then we get the first artist. Instead of getting the first song, we need a function that do something like related or first artist or whatever. So I'm just gonna drag this one, and I'm gonna copy this function here, and then gonna get related, right? And this one was related, and then it was also artist ID, okay? Artist ID. And this is not the analysis, but it was just the data. So once that I get the artist, instead of calling the get first song, I was gonna call, we need to call which function?
Related.
Get related, right? Of whom, if there is a song, get related of which one? These data artists. Give me the related artist of this, which pretty much I think everybody did something like this. So if I run this again, probably I'm not gonna have any complaint. I will cross my fingers that I don't have any mistake here. And then I do have it because it didn't work. Analyze, and then we have errors here. So, okay, what are the errors here? Oh, because from artist, we get the artist, okay? And then from the artist, we call get related, that requires an artist ID. Is it called related? Yes, related. Is it?
I don't know if for an ID you need to put like point ID.
No, because that is called here artist ID. So it was artist ID. No, in related, get related artist ID. It didn't like it when we get the artist, and then probably I will have the same problem here. Something went wrong again.
No,
Okay.
I think it was in the line 102 that it is data.artist.items.id.
You are all right. You are all right. ID. And I think that is the problem. And because I didn't write ID, I was sending all the bunch of information. And then I think, yes, thank you very much for that. And then we have the related artist, okay? We got the related artist. I know that some of you, many of you did all of this well, but I'm just doing this very quickly for the two groups that has a small issues in the assignment. Now, once that we get the related, it's probably here when we have the 20 artists that we will go through the pieces. However, we have a problem. We want to hear also the first song, because the first song is not the related. The first song is actually the song that the artist that we are getting. So please play the first song. Please play the first song, okay? The first song of the artist. In addition to that, give me the related ones. And once that we get the related ones, if there is data, probably if there is some data here, okay, let's go back here to check or to study what is happening when I have this. We have to study the how is executed. So we have an object that says artist, and the artist, yes, object and artist, artist is an array. Objects has artist. Artist has its artist is an array, and the array has an ID. Okay. Okay. Sounds logic. So what we need to do is this data has artist. That so if we have to say something like if there is something in artist, at least there is one related artist. So probably we have to say something if data dot artist. That means that we do have artists, plural. That means that if we have artists, then please do the following. We are gonna do a for, and then we are gonna do just a very basic for. I'm gonna grab this one, but instead of using, I'm lazy, that's why I'm just grabbing the for another place, but I'm going to creatable variable e equals 0, while e is minor to how many do we want? Let's say that we want 5, okay? And then we have a for here. You understand what I'm doing, right? And once that we have the for here, what do we want to do? We want to do the same, which is called get first song, okay? You understand what I'm doing? Get first song here. One more time, give me the first song, but now from whom? From data, artist. It's already an array. We use the I to give the first and then the ID, right? If everything is fine, which I hope, unless I make a typo and then I type something. I have a bunch of sounds. My 5 sounds are playing at the same time. Okay, where is the place where I'm deciding where are they playing? Well, the line that is deciding where is it playing, it's here because we're saying play immediately. Okay, how can I change this in a procedural way? How can I change this in a procedural way? Well, I need to say each time that I call play song, I want to play it in a different moment. So probably the best thing to do is saying when, okay? So this, instead of being a 0, it's gonna be a when, okay? If I do that, and then I can say here, when it's, and then you're gonna start to see that in each part of the functions that you have one parameter, now you require 2 parameters. Where are we calling play sound here? So that means that here we need to say when, but that is coming from get first song. So we can also say here the when or now or time, or it doesn't need to be the same name of the variable on the top. We can say also when here. Remember that that when will be a different when than the other one, because you could have 2 variables with different, variables with the same name in another context. Like you can have 2 students with the same name in a different room. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to speak really fast so you don't fall asleep, but you can stop me anytime, okay? So now that you have the preview URL, then you can say when here, right? And that's it. I think that's it. Why do we have a mistake here? Preview is not defined. Come on, preview URL. A preview URL, it's here. Oh, let's play safe, and then we just create a variable here, okay? And then where are we calling get first song? We're calling it here, and we are calling it here. We know that in this particular case, we want to start at the very beginning of the song, okay? And in this particular case, in the get first song that we're getting after the related, we need to say when. Well, at least we can use the counter multiplied by the amount of seconds that we want to deface each one. Remembering that this one will be 0 times 1, 0. Oh, big mistake. If this one is 0 at the beginning, right? If this one is 0 at the beginning, it will be 0. And then the first 2 songs will start at the same time. So we just need to say +1, okay? In such a way that when I is 0, this is 1, 1 times 10 is 10. Now with this technique, we're gonna have the first song playing in second 0. The next one, well, the problem is that they are 30 seconds long. The next one, 10 seconds later. The next one, 20 seconds later. The problem is that they will still gonna be overlapping because the length of the song, the preview is of 30 seconds. So we could either do this, and then we're gonna hear 30 seconds of each piece, or we can make them really slow, which means then that we need to stop the sounds. When? Well, we can stop it. How long are they going to be? Well, we can say source. We're going to stop it. And then we have to be careful because that when should be audio context current time. This one, let's be more clean in this case, plus when do we want it? And when do we want to stop it? Well, we want to stop it in audio context plus when, plus the duration of the audio, which in this case is 10. Now, this is ugly. Having a 10 here and having a 10 here could prone to some mistakes. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to create a constant, which is audio duration. And my audio duration is going to be of 10 seconds. So I can replace those magic numbers that we have here, the 10 that we have here, and the 10 that we have here. We cross fingers, we run this, we run L3, we analyze. So we have 10 seconds of L3. Then 10 seconds of, I think it's Caifanes. And now the voice is really dim. And then 10 seconds of, oh, big mistake, 10 seconds of something that is not sounding, okay? Because it couldn't be decoded. And then 10 seconds of another song.
That error that you mentioned of the on the decode part is our fault or Spotify's fault?
Well, it's not our fault because we can't do anything about it because that URL doesn't exist. So if we want to fix that, then we will need to do something like this. Could you give me just two seconds, please? Because I think my family is in the door and they don't have keys. Give me 10 seconds, please. I'm back. Okay, now that which is a mistake because we don't want that could be fixed, right? We can fix it. How can we fix it? Well, we could do something like this. Yeah, we can do something like this. Let's try to fix it.
I got a quick doubt.
Yes.
On the assignment that we did with some artists, there was no sound. Why is that? Because there was a restriction or?
Yes, the same, because you didn't get a preview URL. And you didn't get a preview URL because Spotify didn't give you the URL.
Okay.
Okay. But if we don't want to, if we want to jump them, the best thing to do is just basically if there is a preview URL, right? Oh, but here we have the if preview URL, then play it. The problem is that if we don't have it, let me run again this to see what's going on when we, this one, uncut impromise. Oh, because there is this, this one is the one that we didn't find. Oh, interesting. We did get, where is the first? In line 33, it's the problem, okay? In script 33 here, when we have the 33, it's when we are trying to connect to get that audio. Oh, no, this is a little bit worse. By the way, this is a Spotify mistake because they are actually giving us the URL. They are giving us a proper URL. That's why we are playing the sound. However, it has a mistake here, okay? We have a request here. So maybe what we can do is, I think it's a request on error. Let me see if we can do request, and then we can do something like request.on error. It's gonna be equal to a function that has an error, I think so. And then we can type here, and then we can say Spotify, and we will console.log, okay? And then we say, hey, Spotify is It's fooling me. Okay, let's see if that is true. Then go back here, then go back here, then I go here. And then we go back to here. 403 is not found. Okay. We are still having now the line. Oh, now it's on line 37. On line 37, it's again the request sent. Let me check how is it on error? Requests on error. Let me see if it's request on error. Yes, I think so. On error. Oh, maybe it's a function without a parameter. Does that make sense? Let me check. Function. And then on error. Let's see. Not found. We are getting the preview. No, I guess we need to implement a more complex solution. Where is my console? What happened here? Where is my console? It's here. It's unable to decode the audio. Which one? This one. Oh, you see, there the web page was not found for the web address. Yeah, they are giving us an audio, but the audio doesn't exist. And then that is we have to treat this in another way. Okay. What time is it? We can fix it, but I don't think it's worth it to do it right now. Okay. Some of you did implement envelope, so you have the input and output, right? A small envelope in such a way that you could have them. But does that make sense? Yes? People that had some errors in the assignments, does this make sense?
Teacher, can you teach us how to do a crossfade or fade in, fade out?
Oh, how to do the crossfade?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is that your volume, okay, the volume that's set gain at 0, now it's going to start in 0. Okay, your volume should start in 0 when? Well, in when. Okay, and then we need to say that the volume we're gonna have, can you remind me how to create a linear ramp in the web audio API? And we go here, one different item, find it, web audio API, linear ramp to value add. This is the thing that we need. So which one? The audio parameter. So we need to say, please go. We are gonna add, okay. We're gonna, the gain of the volume, please create a ramp to value at time. Which value? Please go to 0.1. And when do you want to finish? Okay, when do you want to finish this? Well, you want to finish this in audio context current time, probably +1. So you are giving 1 second for going from 0 to 0.1, right? And then you are saying, please create a ramp that is going from 0, that is going to 0, right? Please correct me if I'm right. Go to 0 when? After that moment, plus, I would say, let's do 40. Let's see if this has some logic, okay? Let me refresh. Yes, I think we have a, and then going down, then Oh, the next one didn't play. Oh, it's playing. Okay. And then going back to the volume. Of course, that at this point, we have a very horrible envelope because we are doing 1 second going up and 4 seconds going down. 1 second going up, 4 seconds going down. Okay. And probably with 1 second going up, 3 seconds remaining, and then 1 second going down. So how can we do that? Maybe we can create another one that is going from here. Okay, please keep to 1.1. That means going from 0.1 to 0.1 in how long? In 3 seconds and then 1 second. Okay, I think so. And then let's search for another one. Radiohead. No, something is wrong here. Yes, something is wrong here because what we really want is going from 0 in when, from when to 1, then going from to 0 from when plus let's just grab this one. So go to 0, then go to 0.1 and end up that in when plus 1. Then we want to go to 0.1 in when to, if you remind me, how can we get the envelopes? Let's read a little bit of this one. It says, a floating point number, the linear ramp interface schedule a gradual linear change in the value of the audio parameter. The change starts at the time specified for the previous event. Okay. Oh, the change starts at the time specified for the previous event, follows a linear ramp to the new value given in the value parameter and reach the new value at the time given in the end time. Okay, so when is it starting? This is important. When is it starting? This is starting in when. When is it finishing? In when plus 1. That means that when is this starting? When is this one starting? In n plus 1. And when is it finishing? In when plus 3. This is finishing in when plus 3. And this, then that means that this should be in when plus 5. Okay. 1 from going to 0 to 1. 1 to remain in this actually would be in 4. And this one should be end up in 5. I think so. I think that this should be better. Going up, going down. Now the next one. But the next one is, that's it. Okay. And we have it. Okay. Just don't forget this important fact that the change starts at the time specified in the previous event. Okay. And that's it. That's all set. That's like a small assignment, but what we did in class was getting the karaoke. And it doesn't sound really good, to be honest. There are some issues here. To create a way much nicer karaoke, probably we need to do it in a more sophisticated way. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, and now just for fun, okay, let's do, okay, no, well, no. How do you feel? Do you have questions? Do you have comments? How do you feel so far in this class? I know it's a technical class, but how do you feel? What things do you want to explore? What do you think is missing? What do you feel that I need to cover with more detail? Are you completely lost in the code? What are you feeling? If you
Well-
could turn on your cameras, I would appreciate it.
Yes, teacher. Wait a second. Well, I really like the class. I think I learned a lot of things and improving my programming skills. So for me, it's good until now.
Okay. Somebody else?
I think that you when you do the code, you really help us. I mean, when we try it and we looking for how to do it, how to make it work, we got many questions and where this and I'm for me and I say where does I supposed to put this code or something like that, and when you do it after I try to, it's good for me for because I have time to analyze and to know how to do it right.
Okay. Anybody else, Mowgli?
I feel the same way as Arturo. When you do the code and show us how to do it, I understand it. But sometimes when you let us an assignment, I struggle a bit trying to figure out where to put that specific part of the assignment that you ask us to do.
I see. Okay.
Like because I understand the logic, but my programming skills are not as advanced as I would like. So for me, that's how I feel.
Okay. Somebody else?
Me, I think that
Oh, your audio
actually
is
the same as Uli. I understand the logic of all of this, but when I have to do it, I don't know what to do first or which things need to be like linked to work together, and that's the part that I got lost.
I see. You just have to remember that we are learning a language. When you learn a language, you should think how babies start to learn a language. Babies start to understand things before they can speak, okay? And that is normal. And when we learn English, when we were teenagers and we learn English, probably we learn more and we can understand rather than speak, right? Create your own ideas, could take it, and you need examples and you need to be doing it a lot and just knowing that this is not a spin run, this is a marathon. These classes are not spin runs. These classes are like preparing for a marathon because it takes a lot of time to do it. Okay. But that's why I'm asking you that, because if you feel that I'm running, if you feel that I have to go back and cover some topic that I'm assuming that it's already done, please let me know. Okay. And please give me your feedback right now. Or if you feel that this should be more confident, please just drop me a private web page saying, I'm lost. I don't understand anything from the beginning of the class, which I hope that doesn't happen, right? Or any kind of questions that you have. I know that is really tiring. Okay.
I got something else. I really like the last classes when you can prepare with an add-on assignment. I don't know if it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That you prepare the exercise before class and you start explaining us how it works. I understand better that way. I don't know
If I show the code at the beginning, or what do you mean?
No, like you prepare the class before, not like doing it in the class. I don't know if it makes sense.
No, what are you saying? What are you saying? That the preparing, I mean, to have the example in advance?
Yeah, yes. That's what I mean.
Okay, I will. Okay, I will
For,
have that.
for me, in classes, work better when you say, "Hey, let's do it, this thing," and just for now, we're going to create a buffer. It's an example, and that will come back to the class, and they say, "Okay, with this buffer, we want to do something like this," and you construct something, you program something, and for now, you should go to do that. And I have time to figure out how or imagine how I could do it. And when I return, you do it, and it's more clear. And I say, okay, I missed this. I got this one good, and for me it worked better for me.
Teacher, I'm sorry.
Yes.
As Mowgli said, I think well, for me, the best way that I can learn is that you have an advanced example like a code or something, and you explain one's part that line, that piece of code do or does. So if you had before the class an advanced code and all the things that you can teach us in during the class, I mean, it's an example, no? In function to, no, I don't know, get signal, you have an page that you show us how it looks finished and with all the things at 100% efficient. And then you explain, I don't know, one part of the code and make an exercise of that piece of code. I don't know if you understand me the way I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I will take that into account, but until certain level, I will do it because my feeling is that when we start a class with all this in the screen, could be very scary. And you can say like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't understand all of this, right? That's why I rather to add little by little the different parts, because it's really scary to start with something like this, as I did today. Okay, here is the code, and then right on. Okay, and then even if I explain it, it could be hard.
I have something to add in order to the Fabian's comment.
Yes.
I think I agree with him, but I think a good option it will be like you to have the code prepared like before the class, because yeah, it's true that that thing that you are saying, that it will be like a little bit scary to watch like a huge code at the beginning of the class. But what if you have like that code like prepared,
okay,
but just for you, like as a guide, because
yeah.
sometimes we are going like, well, we build the code at the class, like researching the resources and the API and all of that. And that is okay, because normal programming or regular programming is done that way. But I think the disadvantage of that is that sometimes we spend a lot of time like researching something, and sometimes in the most important part of the code, we have to do it like running at the end of the class.
Okay.
And that is it is not like very I don't know, like productive, or
it melts our brains when you go like
because
speed.
we have to like speed run at the end of the class in
Okay.
order to complete the code. And I think that if you had like this guide code just for you to follow the class, it could be awesome because it could be like have a more I don't know if dynamic class, or I don't know how to say that, but just to prevent to waste a lot of time in the research or in the or in some errors that may appear.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen, yeah, a couple of times we get stuck into errors that I was not planning to have. That is true. Oh, excellent. Okay, I will do that.
May I speak in Spanish, teachers?
Yes, if you really need it, no, who is speaking, Fabian?
Yes.
No,
Just
you
to
can
explain
no,
my ideas
no,
very well. On
no.
okay. Adding a comment that Jared said, it's like when we are building the code here in class, we get lost because you explain something that it's, well, I don't know how to say it. You explain something and we stuck a lot of time and that example or that piece of code. So I don't know, our brains or our focus is lost. Some of our classmates, including that, but I agree with all my classmates that if you have a piece of code, for me it doesn't matter that how it looks, but if you explain how to do that things and that, I think that we all understand how to make it. And obviously it's gonna be questions, but I think it's more efficient way to learn in that class.
Okay, okay. I will have that into account. Okay,
I,
so
I, I just want to add that I have improved a lot my skills in programming, and I really learned a lot. I now with the assignments can see that, and that's awesome, right? But I think that by adding with what my classmates said about the final review, like a quick review, can help by in order to just know exactly in different ways of explaining it, the things, so we can have a complete view of it and not just by the first time when we see it when it is added to the code. So for me it works a lot to make at the end of each part to make a review, and for the complete code will work better.
yes, and you know what is also important that I'm not doing, and please remind me to do it, because for me, because I understand the code, I forget to do a lot of comments, and I think it would be really good for you if, for example, here I say something like, "Oh, I'm still sharing." Yes, the envelope section. No, envelope section. So you know that the section is here, and then I put here, this is the box that, and then I start to write. So please remind me to add a lot of more comments in the class, during the class. Okay.
Yeah, that could be pretty awesome. And also like adding, I don't know, like the flow signal of the code, you can say it that way. Like, for example, the code first will process this function, or like this will be the step number one of the code that I don't know, like the machine will read it like this way, in this path.
Let's say here the beginning. This is okay. This is when the button is pressed, is the beginning of everything. I don't know, comments. I will do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will do that. Okay, excellent. I will do that kind of things. Okay. So next class we will work in a interactive, collaborative thing, which means it wouldn't be nice, the internet would be nice if we could not share on real time the things that we are doing. I mean, like Minecraft, where my son is playing with his friends, okay? like you guys that I know that you also play together. This internet, the internet of today's, of the present, is a space where people can do things together by teams, right? So we are going to start to build an application that is like a collaborative instrument. And then if I press something, I'm going to start to hear the sound, but another person get connected to this hub, and then we can be 20 or 30 people connected together, manipulating a sound, like a collaborative instrument. Okay, we will build a collaborative instrument. So if I'm connected, I can play alone. But if we are 2 people connected, we are doing a duet, and then all the team, all the group, we can join into the same space and manipulate this instrument. In order to do that, the assignment would be to check the socket input output, socket output, okay? I want you guys to check this code, okay? And I want you to start to understand what is going on this page. If you go here, you will go to the learn, okay? Get started. And then this is explaining you what is that. For example, this is a chat application. It's telling you a little bit how it works and how can you do right, and you get the connection from everybody, right? And then there is also, I think, a small example for drawing. If you go here to demos, okay? Okay, this is the demo. Watch my nickname. I'm Hugo, okay? And type here, hola. Oh no, I think it's not this one. It's the whiteboard, okay? So basically I want you, and let me copy this in the chat. Let me go here. I send you the link, and as you can see, I'm drawing. Could you please go to that? Go please to this. Go also to this link, please. The last one that I sent. And now we are 2 connected. We are 2 drawing, and then I'm drawing, okay? And then I guess all the group, or at least a lot of people, okay, is drawing, right? Well, we are basically implementing this technique where many people can manipulate a web page, but what we are gonna do is applying this to manipulate sound, okay, in a space. Okay, so I think it could be fun, but in order to achieve this, you will need to understand this code. So please go to the socket input output and study all the literature that is here, which is going to the get start, okay, and go to the chat, or again start to do to this learning thing, okay. And then there are a documentation, and it's going to start to explain you a couple of things, how to install it. In our case, it's going to be very simple, because now we are going to go to the socket input npm, which you have to remember that is something that we can do here. Add package, socket input npm, okay? And at that moment, you're going to start to implement a couple of things in terms of that, okay? So assignment.
Could you send that link, please?
I think I did. I'm going to send it again. Are you getting my chat?
Yes, thank you.
That socket input output, you need to understand how it is configured, because we will be using it in order to send it and going back and forth, okay? And that's the beginning, okay? I can see in your faces that you are painting together. I would imagine, are you painting together or something? Yes, right. Okay, well, imagine that in music. Imagine that we create an instrument we all play together. Could be interesting, right? So that's it for today. It's okay, well, it's 5 minutes, but I guess we can finish the class 9 minutes early, and I don't think it could be a big problem. Again, all the comments that you said about the class, I will take them into account. I really appreciate it. And that's it. I think we're in a really good phase based on the things that I want you to learn. I think we are doing really good. I still have to go to another completely different topic, which is the audio connection that I have been saying that we will do. I'm a little bit, that is just fighting versus computers. Each computer will be different in just installing things. We're going to have problems with the internet. We're going to have problems if you don't. How many of you, raise your hand if you do not have Infinitum? You have Total Play or something else, Easy or all of them? Okay, we will have to divide the classes in such a way because we will need to use our private IPs, okay? Well, not our IPs and open ports. In order to allow our modems to open ports, we have to go to our home modems. And we're going to spend a lot of time trying to do that, okay? So it's going to be, it could be frustrating because it may fail in many cases, okay? It depends also of your modem, the modem that you have in your house. So we need to figure it out. How are we going to solve that before going to the Jack Audio? Otherwise, I'm just going to give you a tutorial in video and you see it. And then once that you have the proper configuration at your homes, you start to work on that, okay? But let's check that. Okay, well, that's it for today. And for now, let's go to the socket input output, okay? Have a good night.
Thank you, teacher.
Thanks,
See you.
teacher.
Thank you, teacher. Good night.
Thank you, Hugo. Nos
Okay,
vemos.
Thank you, teacher.
bye-bye.
See you. Bye.
Teacher, I have a question.
Yes.
Because when I stay with my team,